Well, hello, my beautiful viewers on my channel, James Higgins Open World. Well, what this is it's my view of the local elections, woke and political correctness. Let's first things off. The election results we've had so far. Labour has done disastrously. I'm not surprised one bit, to be honest with you. I think Labour have become a party of the minority at the expense of the majority, to be perfectly honest with you. And I always used to vote Labour, you know. But, yeah. They're a pro-European party, in my opinion. It wouldn't surprise me one bit at the next election if they run on to rejoin the EU, which, in my humble opinion, what will it do? It will basically give the Conservative Party another 80 seat, if not 100 seat majority, in my opinion. Really? You know, I mean, most people who voted Brexit knew that it would take time, you know. And Labour needs to have a long, hard look at itself, really, you know, because vast swathes of former Labour voters voted Conservative. That's a fact, you know, and that must have been hard for those people, you know. But what choice did he have at the last election? You know, Jeremy Corbyn, he had that manifesto, which was unachievable, in my opinion, most of it, really. What did they promise on Brexit? Labour, did they won the last election? They promised that there would be a second referendum and it would be Remain, or a deal which Labour struck with the EU, which would basically mean being in the single market and a customs union. So basically, we'd have left, if we'd have voted to leave, in name only. And Labour voters knew this to be true, you know. And people also, you know, people knew that people know that Labour are a pro-European party. It's a London-centric party, only as well. Only cares about how it looks from the London perspective, you know. And they lost Hartlepool. I'm not surprised. You treat your core voters like shit. What do you expect? I'm sorry if this offends any Labour voters watching. It's only my opinion, and I respect your opinion. In every way. Everybody's got an opinion, you know, and we're all entitled to it, within reason, you know. And I'm a massive believer in freedom of speech, within reason, yeah, and what have you. But yeah, so Labour did it to itself, you know, really, you know. At the last election, they were sitting on the fence over Europe, basically. What was it Jeremy Corbyn said? I'm not going to represent the 52% or the 48%. I'm going to represent both. Well, that's a noble thing to say, Mr. Corbyn, but the simple fact is that Brexit voters and Leave voters wanted two totally opposing views. Remain wanted to remain in the European Union, and the fact that it would become one country one day, which a lot of them won't admit, but that's the goal. A federal United States of Europe, in my humble opinion, you know, that is the goal. You know, Brexit people voted Brexit, and I voted Brexit. Wanted this country to run its own affairs, you know, and what have you. But I will say, and I've said this on this channel before, that if there'd have been a second referendum now because of the pandemic, I would vote to Remain. But even though I'd vote to Remain, right, I have still got major issues with the European Union. I really have. I think, you know, it's full of bureaucrats. We've got these gold-plated pensions and all sorts of stuff. Freedom of movement should only be for people who haven't got serious criminal convictions, in my humble opinion. That's freedom of movement. It should only be for people who haven't got serious criminal convictions. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but that's only my opinion. You know, what I'm saying is, say you get a sentence for 5 years for whatever. As soon as you come out of prison, and it should be across the whole of the EU, you lose 5 years of freedom of movement. So basically, you've got to stay in your own country for 5 years. You know? Yeah, in my humble opinion. You know? And it's like if you get 10 years, you come out, you lose 10 years of freedom of movement as well. You know, that's my opinion. I'm sorry. I mean, the big cities today, they're full of bloody drugs. It's knife crimes going through the roof. Drugs are being moved up throughout, in my humble opinion, throughout the whole of bloody Europe. There's nothing you can do because there's no borders anymore, is there? Apart from the UK now, we've left. Well, sort of left. You know, I mean, Northern Ireland is still in the single market in the customs union. You know, there you go. What else? I'm sorry if this offends anybody. You know, it's only my opinion. I'm a massive believer in the end that what will be will be. Brexit will either work or it won't. But if it won't work, the EU will have us back in a heartbeat. But will the EU be there? Because people need to realise the whole Brexit ideology is not just in this country. People think it is, and it's not. There's anti-EU parties popping up all over Europe. You got, was it Le Pen in France? You know, and what have you? You know, I tell you. Anyway, what else? What else do Labour need to do to win an election? Well, like I said, basically, start listening to the voters, the hardcore voters. You know, I mean, I remember Gordon Brown, and this is true. Gordon Brown, who was the Prime Minister at the time, he went to this woman's house to talk to her. I'll never forget it as long as I live, right? He came out, just because she mentioned immigration, he called her a bigoted woman. He had to apologise, but that's their attitude, isn't it? You know. Well, Tony Blair, and Alistair Campbell and all the rest of them, Mandelson, you know, the pro-Europeans, the globalists. Just 1 second. You know, the globalists. Now, what's the worst thing at the moment that could happen for Labour? Really? I think will virtually stop them hardly ever getting being in government again. If they do, they'll have that much of a slim majority. If this what I'm about to tell you happens, that it'll be a disaster as well. It will be if Scotland leaves the UK. If Scotland leaves the United Kingdom and goes back in the European Union, one, there'll have to be a border, like there is in Northern Ireland. You know, be some sort of border. And two, what's Labour going to do? It's 50 seats. Scotland is 50 seats. I mean, personally, I think Scotland's had a good deal out of the United Kingdom, really. But that's only my own opinion, you know. So Labour at the moment is pretty unelectable, really. And I don't think Starmer's going to be Prime Minister. I really don't think they're going to win the next election. It's too big of a hill to climb. They're just not going to do it. In my opinion, you know. Hartlepool last night just emphasised the point even more. You know, if they can't win a seat like that, they're not going to be in the next government, are they? You know what I mean? You know, you go around insulting your voters and calling them racist bigots and all the bloody rest of it, like a lot of these Labour MPs like Diane Abbott and all the bloody rest of them, and people like that. You know, what do you expect? You know, and talk down to them, you know, like they do, you know. We know better. That with Labour's attitude, we know better than you, you know. And the other thing Labour needs to do is stand up for common sense. and stop this idiotic woke stuff. Which to me, the woke stuff now, it's become like a cult. The cult of woke. You know, have you heard the latest on that one? Let me check the time, it's 10 minutes. The latest on this one, right? Wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear this. It's idiotic. Wait till you hear this, right? They're moaning now about Snow White. Snow White. It's a cartoon. It's a fairy tale. They're moaning because the guy who woke Snow White up kissed her without her consent. Well, how she could give her consent? She was a bloody sleep anyway. It's a fairy tale. A witch had put her in that state. What did the woke brigade? You know, what would the woke brigade want if someone was in that situation? You know, no, this is just a fairy tale. If somebody was actually in that situation, right, where without a kiss off someone, they'd never wake up. Virtually dead, really. Eh? Honestly, you know, ridiculous. Same as that other bloody woke nonsense about Mary Poppins. You know, Mary bloody Poppins are moaning about the fact that Dick Van Dyke had soot on his face and Mary Poppins had soot on his face. Well, the character Dick Van Dyke was playing was a bloody chimney sweep. What do you expect? He's not the bloody black... it's not... he hasn't painted his face stringy in a racist way. He had soot on his face. For God's sake. Mary Poppins had soot on her face. Hundreds of years ago, they used to send kids up chimneys to clean them. You know, you go up any bloody chimney, right? You're going to get soot on your face and have a black face. Bloody coal miners who used to go down to the bowels of the bloody earth to thingy. They come out black as shit. You know, it's soot. What do you expect? It's idiotic. It's nonsense. You know, it's like that. It's like Ian Collins was saying about other Disney films, like what was it, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, where the bed flies in the air. It's not real. Beds don't fly in the air unless they've got some way of. The only way a bloody bed could fly in the air now is if it had propellers on it or something. It's idiotic. It's a cartoon. It's not real. You know, it's not real. You know, Pinocchio's not real. You know, it's a story. It's idiotic. You know, like that other one with the bloody beetle car. You know, it's a bloody car. It's not real. You know, it's like what you call it? I think it's what is it? Talking bears and all. Like Winnie the Pooh, a talking bear. You know, Winnie the Pooh, it's not real. You know, it's not real. You know, it's a children's story. It's not real, you know. Bloody idiotic. You'd stand up to this nonsense. You know, trying to rewrite history all the time as well. You learn from history. You can't erase a second of it. I'm sorry, any wokey people watching this, with the greatest respect. You can't change history. You can put all of these statues down you want. It won't change a second of it. You learn from it. You know? People should stop putting the standards of today on the past. There's an old saying, the past is another country. It's idiotic. Honestly. That's only my opinion anyway. I'm sorry if I've offended any of my viewers, I really am, because I respect all your opinions. But some of this stuff is just idiotic. Really, my humble opinion. And I respect your opinion. I really do. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one.